So what really set the tone for the night in a very bad way was the fight that was supposed to set the tone for the night in a good way, and that was the fight between Manel Kape and Muhammad Mokaev. There was so much bad blood coming into this fight between these two. They got into a fight at the UFC PI. They almost fought each other at the weigh-ins. They tried fighting each other at the weigh-ins, and they even tried fighting each other before Bruce Buffer even announced their names, for the fight to be an absolute snooze fest. They fought like two amateurs who have never even been in a fight, and they basically gave us all blue balls to start the night off with, and it left everyone totally unhappy, including some of the fighters on the UFC roster. Michael Chandler hit the nail right on the head by writing, Mokaev versus Kape pre-fight bravado and shenanigans, score 10. In Fight Killer Instincts, score 2.5. These guys, man, point fighting after acting all tough. You think he knows what he's talking about? Terrence McKinney had a hilarious response that made me laugh out loud, saying, yeah, they were on the right spot on the card. Then Henry Cejudo's dumbass chimed in by saying flyweights needed this rivalry, but the fight didn't match its grudge, which is very, very true. We need the champ to stir the pot, or the flyweights may be in jeopardy again. Who knows? Maybe Triple C could save it again. And I don't know about you guys, maybe this is just me, but I feel like a lot of these grudge matches that have taken place in the past 5 years haven't really lived up to the hype in which the UFC pushed it out to be, and this was another instance of that. And of course, the fight was so bad, it led Dana White to drop this absolute bombshell.
But Mokaev is the guy that you'd want to bring back to the UFC, because he said his contract is totally done now.
Yeah, he is. He's under contract. He's not under contract anymore.
Okay, but would you be interested in keeping him around in the fall?
I think the PFL is going to get a great undefeated guy.
Really?
Good luck to him. Yeah.
And Muhammad tried to say something about how the UFC didn't want him to fight a certain way in order for him to get a new contract.
It's before this fight.
They said they're gonna see how I perform. They don't want to see me keep shooting and taking somebody down, but I've done what I could do with like tonight. Yeah.
They said they didn't like you shooting in there. Is that what they said?
Yeah, they don't like this because they tried to get rid of flyweights before, and they don't want this kind of fight. But listen, I'm young. I'm still not in my prime. Mm-hmm. Like, if they want me to stand and bank with toe-to-toe with these, like, 30 years old grown men, I have to do what's best for me too.
But Dana shut that shit down completely.
Mokaev said that his contract is up, and he made this interesting remark that said someone at the UFC told him to stop shooting for these takedowns so much, and maybe he'll get this contract that he wants. Is that true, and do you think you'll bring him back?
Yeah, that's what we tell guys. We tell guys how to fight and tell them what we've been doing this for a long fucking time. I'm sure one of the matchmakers probably said something to him or whatever, but yeah, the matchmakers aren't big fans of his for many different reasons, and not just there's a lot of people who shoot takedowns in this business. A lot of guys that fight with that type of style, but it's a lot more than just that.
And about a week later, he was cut like hair. And many people were speculating, okay, is he actually going to go to the PFL, especially since the PFL doesn't even have a flyweight division? Well, if you ask PFL, they were almost insulted that their brand was even associated with Muhammad Mokaev's name because people were claiming that he was a nightmare to deal with, and PFL was further back in those claims. But I also find it a little interesting at the fact that Bellator didn't contact him, and neither did One Championship contact him, especially with One Championship having a flyweight division. So where did Mokaev go? He went back to where he got his start in MMA, and that was Brave CF. Hopefully he can turn his life around there. And there's no reason that the fact that he can't come back to the UFC, but the UFC doesn't like it when fighters think that they're this bigger than life star like a Conor McGregor. They like it when they play it by the book, when they climb their ranks the UFC's way. The UFC will do just fine without him. My point being is Mokaev thought he was this Francis Ngannou type of fighter, having a fight span of 1 minute and 10 seconds, when in reality he had a ton of decisions in the UFC, and he's just one big giant dick sniffer going for takedowns constantly. That's like a lower level fighter, and trust me, I've seen a lot of them. It's like a lower level fighter asking to be the first fight on the main card or the co-main event on the main card when all he does is wrestle, when he's a boring ass fighter, and he's right where he belongs, opening the prelims at the beginning of the night. So in the end, like I said, he could come back, but also I think the UFC will do just fine without him, because with him being such a nightmare to deal with, UFC doesn't want to deal with any of that.
You'll do what you're told.